Welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show. The show is designed to give you solutions to your day-to-day management and leadership problems. It's hosted by Matthew Haddock, a frontline manager and leader with over 25 years of experience. If you're ready, then let's get on with the show.
Hi and welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show. This show is designed to give you actionable and practical help to improve your management skills and deliver the results you want. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the show so you'll never miss an episode, and please, if you can, share it with anyone else who might like to hear the message. Right, without any more delay, let's get on with this week's show. Hello and welcome to this week's Manager Matt show. Well, this week's show, I'm going to dive into the ideas of one of the subjects that scares the heck out of most managers, the facts of being more efficient at work. There has been hundreds and hundreds of books, well, maybe more, who knows, have been written around how to be more time productive, how to be efficient at work, all this kind of improvement, and that's brilliant. You know, if you get a chance to read some of that stuff, there's some nuggets in there, and I would sort of say, please go out and search it. We've never lived in an age that you can't get as much information as you can now. You can do a simple YouTube or Google and find lots and lots of information. Even books that you have to buy normally, you can even listen to them pretty much free these days. And there's always somebody on the airwaves or on the internet telling you what you can and can't do around things and how to be more efficient at this and how to fit a 20-hour working week into a 2-hour lunch break. There's all those kind of things going along. But today I'm going to indulge in something very similar. And I have put a disclaimer out there that this is something that's not new, and I'm sure you've heard it before, but there's nothing wrong sometimes with repeating some of the stuff you've learned, because the more that you take it on, the more that you take it in, the more that it can drip feed you and maybe, just maybe, improve the way you work. Now, one of the big things we all have to spend time in as managers are meetings. And meetings themselves are not work. Yeah, and I'm really sorry to tell you this, because since we've moved away from the direct office, and a lot of people are still working hybrid, and I've said in other casts, definitely not against that. I think hybrid working and working away from the office is a great way to live, because it does give you a good balance. But the fact is that people think that going on to a meeting on Teams or Zooms is actually doing the work. Well, let's face it, if you're engaged in a meeting, really engaged, then you're not particularly working. You're listening, you're taking information in, hopefully you're engaging. But some people seem to think that if they are working from home, they need to fill the days with meetings, so the calendar is full. I do remember seeing some managers of the other year, probably years back now, where they said, look how busy I am, and they showed me this calendar on Outlook, and it was just packed. There wasn't a minute in it. It wasn't a lunch break. There wasn't a cup of tea break. There was nothing. And I kind of said to this guy, I went, well, where'd you get it work done? Well, I'm working. I'm in these meetings. I'm like, look, this is not, these are not meetings, are not work. These are meetings. They're not meant to be work. You're meant to be going to the meeting, listening, engaging, and yes, of course, making some actions. No point having a meeting without actions, but it's not particularly working. He didn't take it on board very well, but that, in my mind, is where it all stems from. And from the years, we've got really, really worse at doing this. So today, I just want to go through a few sort of tips that I think we can do to improve it as general. And as I say, they're not new tips. They're things you could easily pick up. But as soon as you're listening to this now and you've got 4 minutes in, you might as well carry on. But before I go any further, what I would like to do is make it very, very clear that if you are a hybrid worker, and you know you are, and you are working from home, please, and again, this is a please, a genuine please, don't put meetings in after 4 o'clock. Because that, in your time, is 4 till 5. Switch off, go to the kitchen, make dinner, finished. Maybe 2 minutes. For those who are at the offices, a 4 to 5 meeting means by the time you've finished and packed up, get in the car, your half-an-hour commute now is going to be an hour commute. So let's just think about it. If you're going to do it, get them in the day. Don't put any meetings after 4 o'clock. Be respectful to the people who are not working from home. Just a little tip before we get into the tips. Tips before tips. Okay, so I've got 5 areas that I think we can all work on our meetings, and we could really try to do this. And This would give us much, much more freedom in our day, much more time back, and much more added value. So we start with number one. The first one, and it's a real obvious one, is do you actually need to have the meeting? What is it for? Why are you having a meeting? Is it just a case of having to communicate someone? Well, if it's just to communicate someone, just pick a phone up. Go round to their office and see them. Do a call directly with that person like you would do with a phone on your Teams. Ring them up. Discuss what you need. Don't have a meeting for meeting's sake. So your first tip is, do you really need a meeting? Do you have a purpose for the meeting? Or is it just something that's there and you're just all invited to this sort of meeting? Second one, following on from the first one, if you do have to have the meeting, invite only the people you need. Stop wasting people's times. Fortunately, people are so nice in offices. They're so nice. They don't want to say no. They just think, I'll just go. He's invited me. I better go. So let's just think, who do I need to be there? Look at that kind of idea of who's going to make a decision in that meeting. Are they there just to be informed, or are they there to actually participate and make a decision? And they do say between 5 to 8 people are the maximum that you can make decisions in a meeting. So if you have a bigger meeting than 5 to 8, you're probably going to have a lot of talking and a lot less decisions. And remember, a meeting is about having an action. So you have a meeting to do an action. If it's going to be about information, then it's a brief. So again, get your terminology right. If you're going to call a meeting, it's about giving an action or getting an action or making a decision. And of course, those decisions mean we deliver results, which is what managers are there for. But if it's just a brief, then call it a brief. Number 3, stop having long meetings. Some meetings go in and they can be an hour, 2 hours. I'll tell you, people have lost interest. You're only 7 minutes into this podcast, you may have already lost interest here. So let's be honest, let's make it sharp. People's attention span are getting less and less. So the hour meeting defaults in the setting, or a half an hour meeting. Do you need a half an hour meeting? Do you have 15-minute meetings? Wow, imagine that. 15 minutes, we're getting in, this is what we're going to talk about, this is what we're going to decide, and then we're going to be out. And it's not going to go any further, it's going to start on time, it's going to finish on time. Because if you don't watch it, your meetings snowball, and before you know it, they're an hour. And of course, because you're booking up your meeting schedule in your calendar, before you know it, you're back-to-back, meetings to meetings, and you don't have a break. In fact, you can see people on Teams going, sorry, I'm going to be late, I need to have a break between the meetings. Well, you've planned our meetings in. Stop accepting them. Send them back. Say, can we do this in 40 minutes? Give you 20 minutes back to do something of the basic things you need to do, or actually get on with other work. Number 4, a very difficult one. Just say no. So when you are getting invited to meetings, how about turning around and going, no. Do I really need to be there? I'm not going to go. Or I'm just going to forward it and delegate it to somebody else in my team. Before you do that, little tip on a tip. Tell the person you're going to delegate it to. Don't just make it and say, send that person, because it may be great for them for development, but if they don't know it's development, they think it's just being put on, that you can't be bothered and you're putting onto it. So have a look. Say no if it's not something you need to be at. And I've done this quite a bit. My team know, don't invite me to meetings that I don't need to make decisions. Because if I become the meeting and you expect me to make all the decisions, then why have got the rest of the people in the meeting? So have a look at saying no. And if you have to get there, get it delegated to somebody else. And then this is a little bit, number 5, about your own management of your own time. Block out your time. We all know that if you ain't in the diary, you forget. But why not block in that time? So block out the zones where you think, nope, I'm going to actually get some work done. And I know I'm productive between 10 and 12 every day. So those are my days, or that's the time of my days where I'm going to do my work. So you're going to turn your notifications off. You're going to get on with your work. You're going to say no to all the meetings around there. And the people will soon realise that that doesn't work. And you can start to add value by doing that, because at the end of the day, your time is valuable. The company is paying you as managers and leaders, usually more than a lot of people in that business, to make decisions, not to sit in meetings, not to pretend to fill your diary up with meetings because you think it's important. So at the end of it, block out the time like you would do with a meeting to make sure that you can get value add. Okay, a few takeaways then. Be brave and own your calendar. So let's be brave, own your calendar. Be strong, then say no. Be honest and tell people why you don't need to go to that meeting. And be ready to delegate. Be open to delegate. And be open to trust others to make decisions in those meetings that you're not sign. Well, that's it for Manager Matt this week. Thanks for listening, as always. And as always, I am really going to look forward to some feedback on how you have improved your meetings, or feedback on any other of the subjects I've covered on this show. So please, if you can, send me your feedback to managermattpodcast@gmail.com. I engage every person who emails me and would love to know about new or old topics you want me to revisit. And as ever, whatever you've learnt, whatever nugget of information you take from today's cast, please put it into action, because you don't get nothing for nothing. Okay, that's it for Manager Matt this week. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.
Thank you so much for listening to this Manager Matt podcast. We hope you found it interesting, helpful and actionable. One last thing, please leave a quick review on iTunes or with your podcast provider, as it helps to spread the word of Manager Matt. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the podcast, and if you did like anything in particular, send an email to managermattpodcast@gmail.com or visit managermatt.co.uk for more content. Feedback is a gift, so let's keep giving. See you next week.